Pugh. That'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football.
Good evening, Bournemouth fans. Hope you're doing well this Friday night. It's another Friday night, live in front of the Sky TV cameras, and Bournemouth don't lose. I'd love to know the last time we did lose on a Friday night in front of the cameras, but it was a really good performance today at Barnsley, a 4-0 win, and we certainly put to bed the blues that we had in the middle of the week. Really happy. Really delighted. And if you want to get involved, then you can certainly do so. All you need to do is go to afcbpodcast.com/take part. We're going to get as many people on during the show as we possibly can. It was 3-2 in the week to Preston at Dean Court. And do you remember after that match we lost at Sheffield Wednesday, it kick-started us and then we played incredible for a number of games again? Well, if that's what it's done, brilliant. I'll take that. Right, we're going to bring people in straight away. And firstly, it's going to be Kirk. Hello, Kirk.
How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, very good. Very happy with that. We're also going to bring in Billy Day and James Whitehurst as well. How are you doing, guys?
Yeah, we're all great. We're all great. Positive vibes again. So it's all great.
That's what I like to hear. James, you all right, mate? Can't quite hear you there, mate. So you may just need to sort out the headphones. I'll just let you sort that for a little bit anyway. Kirk, 4-0. Never in doubt, was it? I'm even going to crack open one of these. I'm just taking this out the fridge. This could go where it hasn't. Good. Right. Anyway, talk us through it, Kirk. Brilliant.
A job well done. Very much, pretty much a professional business-like performance. Some very good goals. Lots of really good performances all over the pitch. Some much improved performances from some underperforming players. So that was good to see. A player that really added value to our squad, our lineup today, and that was Sam Surridge. Lots of good stuff that he done off the ball, on the ball, and clinical in front of goal. Yeah, clean sheet as well. Very good. There will be parts of our defensive game that, Jason will want to work on. But fortunately, we came up against a team in Barnsley that were not good enough to punish us and lacked quality. So all round, a good job done and not too much damage done to the squad.
Yeah, very true. But it was never going to be an easy game. I mean, they managed to beat Birmingham 2-1 in the week. And from the preview with Doug O'Kane from the Barnsley Chronicle, it was, they were a team that was starting to get a bit of confidence back. And, they can be a good side. But do you think the result slightly flattered them or flattered us?
They're a team that have only conceded one goal under 40 minutes all season. So I was looking at this game thinking if we go in at 1-0, I'll be very happy. After the chances that we did waste, that, Solanke will probably think that he should have scored earlier than he did. I think we would have been disappointed if we hadn't gone 2-0 up. But once you go in at 2-0, it is a tough ask because we have got a strong squad in that position. And I did feel at that point it was going to be a tough ask for Barnsley, and it was going to be an opportunity for us to manage the game, and it worked out absolutely perfectly. And it was given an opportunity for JT to bring on some younger players, freshen up the squad as we look at the next fixture on Tuesday. So when we play like that, when we can keep clean sheets, yeah, it's going to be good.
John asks, is that the most complete performance of the season? I'll put that to Billy. What do you think? Because it feels to me like it was, because it was a first half and a second half where I thought we were very, very good.
We had nothing wrong in that game. It was just a solid, perfect performance. Admittedly, I actually missed the first half an hour because the bloody tube was just a nightmare. Right. So that was havoc. But I got in and I saw the replay of Billing's goal, and I thought fantastic. And then, I saw Diego Rico step up. I was thinking, if he scores, he's gonna have a shot, surely. And it was just bliss. And that is our complete performance of the season.
Kirk, does it show you that systems. We can talk about 3 at the back, 4 at the back, or whatever. It's just the application of the players when we need it, and we seem to have it all over the pitch tonight. I thought everyone to a man was really good, and there was a player in Adam Smith that I thought was much improved after his last performance. It seemed everyone had got a bollocking and started to play really well. And it doesn't matter what you play, 3 at the back, 4 at the back. There was just better application all round.
Yeah, Adam Smith looked more recognisable, and actually, I said earlier on that he's not going to get away with this tonight playing in a 3-5-2 because he has to be more offensive, and he did that, and it was good to see because I felt like it was time for him to turn up. This Phil fits the bill, and when he does turn up, we've had performances like this from Billing before. I'm trying to think of Aston Villa when he played well and he scored. The problem with Billing is I now have in the back of my mind is, do we now have to wait 3 months to get another performance out of him? And that's what I think always lingers with Billing. Formations. It'd be quite interesting to know, Sam, whether the 3-5-2 was a tactical formation to match Barnsley, or whether it was actually the last 2 performances playing a back 4 forced them to go back to a back 3, because we started off with a back 3. We did okay at the start of the season. Then we hit a little bit of a dip with Sheffield Wednesday. Then it started to not really work and we were getting a little bit found out. So we moved to a back 4. Then we punished Reading. Then we kicked on from that. And then we've struggled the last few games again. And then we falled into a back 3 again. So I would really like to know, was it the back 4's not work for 2 games, let's go back to a back 3? Or was it actually planned that we're going to play a back 3 against Barnsley?
Well, one thing I've got to say with players like Adam Smith, obviously you said yourself in the game in midweek against Preston, Roro Riquelme hugs that left touchline, which meant the left fullback was almost very stunted in that he couldn't get forward. Maybe this 3 at the back is one of the only formations now that Adam Smith can thrive in, because he's got that width. He won't have someone that's directly in front of him and can power on like he did for that first goal, which I thought was absolutely superb. It's almost like the fullbacks in a 4 maybe don't feel as though they've got license to go forward. And obviously that's always stereotypically over the years. I know we're playing to Jason Tyndall's style now rather than Eddie Howe's, but we've always had strength from our fullbacks who bomb forward. And, we saw that in the first goal today where Billing smashed it in. I thought he was going to feed Rico, but he didn't. I mean, what a goal that was.
Yeah, and his aggression to battle on there and get the assist for the first goal. But do you know what also helps Smith is when you've got someone like Surridge who naturally wants to run the line and he wants to chase lost causes, it's an easy option for Smith to play that ball down the line if he's got nothing else on. That helped Smith tonight. And how many times? I mean, he nearly, Surridge nearly scored from the first minute from that, where Smith almost puts a hopeful ball down the line and Surridge wins the ball between the centre-back and the goalie. When you don't have a player like Surridge who does that, what happens then is Smith doesn't have that option, and he hasn't got that outlet, so all he wants to do is go back all the time. And then when you add that he's not getting progressively up the pitch and overlapping like he was the other night, we don't see the best of Smith. So when he was in possession tonight, I think he was trying to do the right things. And if there was nothing on, he was just hoping Surridge was going to run onto his balls down the line. And it was good to see. He was due a performance.
James, hopefully we've got you back audio-wise now. Fingers crossed. You must be delighted after that performance, eh?
How's that sounding?
Yeah, all good.
Is that all right? Perfect. Yeah, really delighted, actually. I came into the game worrying about 3 things. One was, can we make chances without Danjuma on the pitch? 2 was, can the defence stop giving away quite as many clear-cut chances? And 3, it's a little bit about referees in the Championship, and are they going to be strong enough to let us play and not let teams kick us off the park? And I think we answered 2 of the 3 tonight. There's still the defence I've got question marks over. I think that first half probably was a 3-2 to us on balance, but we shouldn't have kept a clean sheet tonight. How their centre-back missed from a yard out? Was it a yard? I mean, he wasn't looking, and it hit him on the foot and went wide, but we still could have conceded a couple tonight. So 4-0, and I'm over the moon. The formation, I think, works well. Your point around Smith, Kirk, is spot on. He seems to fit this better. And when we had Callum, he used to make those pressing runs in behind all the time. And I thought that worked really well. I thought Dom's a big plus point. He's looking every bit of the 20-goal striker now. I know he's got a bit of stick of that in the past, but he's bang on pace. Kind of choked his first chance a bit, but my word, did he make up for it with the second. That was a very cool finish. Good strength, put it in the corner. So, yeah, overall, I think the midfield and the forward plays really strong. It's a great win, mate. It's 4-0 in the Championship away. You can't complain at that. But I don't think we should be too high on it in the same way I didn't think we should have been too low in the last 3 or 4 games. I don't think there's a massive gulf in the chances. I think genuinely we've been thinking we were going to do a team 4-0 for a few weeks, and it's happened. And yeah, Rico's goal as well. So well up there for one of the goal of the season contenders.
Yeah, really pleased. Yeah, I'm so delighted that he managed to get off the mark in an AFC Bournemouth shirt with a goal of that quality, because we all know how much quality he does have with his left foot, and he's delivered from a free kick, which, before last week we were sort of thinking, actually, are we as good as free kicks as we think we are? And then Stanislas pops up against Preston, and then that one, I mean, really good free kick. Just shows we can be a bit inventive. Everyone thought he was going to pump it into the box. He didn't. He did him with the eyes, and yeah, what a goal!
Really close. It didn't look at all.
Oh, it was yeah, a brilliant finish. Kirk, it seemed to me that we had so much space out there today. Yet there are other teams that seem to just press us. Was it the fact that Barnsley just gave us too much respect? Because I don't know. I thought they might maybe look at Preston, Rotherham, even though that Preston did out-football us, and Rotherham, they had a very different tactic. But what the two teams did have in common is that they pressed, and one did it, tactically well, Preston, and actually played football with it. Rotherham were a bit hustly-bustly, but Barnsley didn't seem to do that today. And players like Philip Billing seem to have a lot of time on the ball in the middle of the park.
We had an outlet, and I'll go back to him again. We had an outlet in Sam Surridge, and what that does is that stretches the opposition and then will create space. Now, Dom Solanke, I've always said, is a natural number 10, and when you set them up as a number 2, you're going to see a real good benefit to Dom Solanke, because don't disregard what Sam Surridge does for Dom Solanke. His movement for the centre-backs is creating space for Dom Solanke to do what he does best, and that's pick up the balls, that is link play, and that is for him to get the odd goal, which he will always get. Sam Surridge scored tonight. That's 2 in a row for Sam Surridge, and he is the closest we've got to a natural goal scorer. Now let's see Dom Solanke score 2 games in a row, and I like the 2 up top.
And just before we switch around, Sam Surridge, he's a player that's had limited opportunities, and today was his big chance to say, "Hey, Jason, look at me, I'm still here." Do you think he's done that tonight, and is going to give him something to think about?
He just gives us something that we haven't had, and the movement, the chasing down lost causes, the loading of the box. He just wants to score goals. He's less interested in assisting. He'll take them. But he just wants to score goals. As I said to you the other night, I'm not pinning all my hopes on him getting us up the top and keeping us up there. But he definitely will play a part this season. And that combination is good. I like it. The problem we're going to have is when we've got a fit squad, is how you then try and get Stanislas back in there, who's been very good, and how you get probably our best player so far this season in Danjuma. So I think it works, that too. It's trying to accommodate everyone else.
And Billy, I don't know about you, but before the match, after the midweek, I was really concerned about having no Jeff Lerma. Obviously, he was suspended, and to be fair, the guy needed a break because he was just relentless after international duty, just kept on going. I'm glad he's had his break tonight, but it didn't feel like we missed him, did it?
No, not at all. Billing came back and he filled that role very well, without a doubt. And that midfield was just fantastic. And I feel like Barnsley today, they didn't give up. I feel like they were giving attacking chances in, and that's what you give them credit for. They didn't sit back and just defend. They still went up to try and take out the clean sheet away from us. But all credit to Barnsley tonight. I went into this game really negative, thinking it's going to be a long old night. But we did the job done. We move on to Swansea, and I'm feeling really confident. I've got my positivity back again.
That's what I like to see. I've got to say thank you so much, guys. James, Billy, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Cheers. See you later, guys. Thanks very much, James. Of the Cherries. Nice to see you. And Kurt, what we'll do is we'll bring you back in late. If you're okay to hang about, I'd like to bring you back in a bit later as well, if that's okay. But what I'm going to do is get Morgan in, as well as David Cordell and Christian as well. So we'll see you shortly. Morgan is with us as well. Morgan Scott. We've got Christian Murphy coming in now, and also David Cordell. Dylan Williams is standing by, as is Daniel. Morgan, come to you first. How are you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Buffett. What a game.
Really good game.
I think it's because I know Kirk was talking about a lot, but it's because of Sam Surridge. He caused the defenders chaos all evening. He was running for every single ball. It was fantastic. He didn't stop. It was like he covered. He was just absolutely brilliant. I've been crying out to see him play, and what's he got now? 2 goals in 2 games. Excellent performance. Back to winning ways.
And Morgan, we've got a comment here from Marcus who says, were you impressed with Philip Billing tonight, Mr. Scott?
Absolutely. Oh, sorry. Not 9 o'clock yet. I swore 4 o'clock. Oh, my. But no, Billing was excellent. I never seen the day. I had to put a tweet on for Steve Henson on Twitter as soon as that went in. Oh, he was brilliant. And he was playing football. He was off it. He was absolutely fantastic in all areas of the pitch. He didn't. He was. They mentioned into the second half in commentary, just chasing down the ball, picking out for a throw. And excellent. That's what you do in the Championship. No mucking around. No putting pressure on the back four. It was absolutely sublime from everyone on the pitch. The positive of that.
That's really good. And Christian, I'm glad you've got a fire extinguisher behind you, because that performance was hot, wasn't it? It was really good. Apologies, I'll go now. No. How do you feel about that 4-0?
Dude, this was a very important a win for them to just beat a team down. I don't think we can discount the fact that this needed to happen. I mean, for real, I don't care who did it. I don't care who scored the goals. But it definitely needed to go through. And again, you see from the goal scorers in this game, I mean, Bournemouth, the chemistry is awesome on this team, for real. I mean, we got people every week just turning it up, and just putting them in the back of the net. It's crazy. So it was great to see, for real. And Barnsley, I mean, whatever. They didn't play that great. I mean, they did. They played us good in the first half, but I think this is very important. I don't think we should discount the fact that we needed this ass whooping to happen. Honestly, so,
it's quite nice to see that we're getting goals from all over the pitch. And we were. I said to, I can't remember who it was in one of the press pass interviews we had here. I think it wasn't Daniel's story. It was one of the last ones anyway. And I said, do you need a 20 goal a season striker to get promoted to the Premier League? And stats have shown that the majority of times you do, but the last couple of seasons have shown you haven't. And the fact that we've got goals from all over, Rico with his free kick, even Philip Billing, and also Sam Surridge, who's scored again after coming in. I mean, it's really good to see that there are a lot of scorers this season, whereas last season it felt like we were relying on the same 3 or 4 players all season long. Yeah,
it's exciting for sure. I mean, I don't know what anyone else thinks about it. I mean, it's to me, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. This is very, very cool.
Yeah, it certainly needed something to sort of like the blue touch paper, and that certainly done it. David in Washington must be well chuffed with that performance, aren't you?
Especially after watching the pressing game. I think first of all, I agree with you. We had 4 different goal scorers. So I think that was crucial. I think Rico's free kick was brilliant. I think Billing had probably his best game for us. I'm looking at Surridge and I'm looking at Solanke, and I'm thinking they're like McDougall and Boyer. I think Solanke is the guy who holds the ball and sets him up. And I think Surridge is a natural goal scorer. And You know what? I would put Surridge in every game. I think he's that good. And I think he and Solanke work well together. And Josh King, he can have his headaches.
Yeah, well, you know what? He can have his headaches, and however long it's going to take him to get over this virus or whatever, I don't quite know. But can you see a way for him playing in a Bournemouth shirt again, Josh King? Because when you've got, I mean, look, it's 90 minutes. It's only one performance, and you know everything that we said could be negated in our next match. We don't quite know. That's how fickle we are as football fans, I suppose. But yeah, Sam Surridge, he always works hard, and I've never not seen him not work hard. So he's a player that you just.
I'd rather have a player who puts his heart on the line and goes out and plays hard than Josh, who really doesn't seem that interested in playing for us. And to be honest with you, I'd sell Josh. I'd get whatever we can for him, and I'd focus on the players who want to play first.
Agreed. Morgan.
Can I just chip in there, if I may? Sam Surridge, Josh King isn't an actual goal scorer. We go back to saying Solanke wasn't an actual goal scorer with 20 goals. Kim won't get us 20 goals a game. Yes, he will be brilliant and link up, but I don't see King getting back into that squad right now. It's so brilliant, and with Dom and who I've been very critical of in previous shows, but Dom Solanke and Sam Surridge, after what we just seen, you don't change that partnership.
That's right.
They're going to be called the S and it's like the SOS, that new partnership between them, and then they feed off with Brooks and Dan Juma when he's back fit, and Junior Stanislas. It will all become magic, and then it goes into the back of the net because Sam Surridge and David Brooks earlier in the Carabao Cup, I know we weren't going to progress that far. We were never bothered about it. We were always going to be wanting to get promotion, but you could see in that game, Surridge, Brooks were linking up very, very well. Dom Solanke linked up with all three of the white winners, Junior Stanislas, Brooks and Juma. It's excellent. Why change something that works? Because if we carry on doing this, getting 4 goals, yes, okay, we're going to face harder opponents than what we did tonight. But if we play like we did tonight and we keep Sam Surridge scoring goals, we will go up to the Premier League one way or another.
Right, but the thing is, I don't think. Let's say Lerma, right? Lerma and Danjuma. If they get fit again, you wouldn't put them back in, or you would leave it because they're winning.
That's what I was just gonna say. I'd love to see. Look, hey, if Sturridge goes quiet for 3 games, and Danjuma comes back in, starts heating up, dude, that's what's cool about this lineup right now. I mean, we got people like Danjuma. He might come back in and be a monster. You know,
I mean, to me, Jefferson. I thought Billing had a great game. But if I had to choose between Jefferson and Billing, you got to put Lerma in there. I think.
Of course you do, and I think that's really. But I think that's also great that we got the option when Lerma is. You know, he's always likely to pick up a booking or sometimes get sent off. That's just the type of player. But I think it's fantastic that we got the option, and when Roro came off the bench, Jade Anthony, they looked really, really sharp. Dan Gosling came on and got taken out. So we got lots of options, and it's so good to see. And it's just positive that we got a squad of players just playing football and win games again. It's excellent.
I mean, I love the fact that the young players are beginning to come on. I mean, that's the kids who were in the under 21s and the under 18s. Yeah. You're beginning to see them play now, and that would never have happened if we stayed in the Premier League. These guys would never have had a shot. So this is actually the good thing of going down. I think in the short term, if we can bounce back and we can develop those players, they'll be ready for the Premier League next year.
Yeah, just before we let you go more, because your audio is a little bit choppy this week, actually, and a few people on chat have just said it, but I'll just ask this question before we go. Don't worry too much about it. How do you fit Dan Juma in the current side? You know, based on the fact that you want Solanke and Surridge to start, how do you put Dan Juma in there as well? What do you do? Difficult, isn't it? I mean, JT's got headaches, and what I'll do later on is I'll bring Kirk back to ask, because he's the technical god here at Back of the Net. So I'd love to know how that's possible, or maybe it's not.
Sam, that's why JT gets paid the big money and we don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Sam, to your question, to bringing him back in is going to be very difficult. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to come back in. Maybe you could take. I hate to say it. I'm a massive. Brooks is my favourite player, but he didn't look particularly. He didn't combine to much. It was a game that he wasn't really needed tonight because other players stepped up. He's not always going to have the best game, but maybe take Brooks out, rest him. He's come back from a very year and a half, I think they said in commentary tonight. Maybe give him a rest and bring Danjuma back in. I'm not sure, but it's going to be a very, very tricky fix to bring all the players back in. Like Jeff, definitely Lerma, but Danjuma's going to be very tricky to get back in if they're going to continue to play like that. But just before I go, I'm going to give Sam Surridge a 10 out of 10 in a man of the match performance.
Brilliant, Morgan. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And yeah, sorry, David, you're just about to come in and say something else.
No, I mean, it's going to be a hard one, but I wouldn't take Brooks out. The only advantage of taking Brooks out is that then the Premier League teams aren't watching him, and we keep him in January. I mean, that's my biggest fear. Is one of the teams is going to come in for Brooks in January. But hopefully, I agree. What a performance! 4-0. You can't. The whiners aren't on Twitter complaining anymore, so that's good. What more can you ask for than a 4-0 win after you lose against Preston? Brilliant.
Yeah, we all wanted to see reaction, and that was it. Christian and David, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you too. And if you want to get involved, the link is afcbpodcast.com/take part. Right, we're going to bring in Daniel, Dylan, and also John Spark has just joined the room. Simon standing by, as is Heather and John as well. So let's bring in Dylan. How are you, mate?
Great game. Brilliant game. Feeling absolutely fantastic. Philip Billing nominating for the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
Unbelievable tonight. I mean, loads of people probably saw the team sheet tonight, including myself, even though I do like Billing. Saw it and thought, will he turn up? And then as soon as he scored that goal, I was like, this is going to be about 6-0. But
you just wonder if he's been given an ultimatum, because that performance tonight I thought was absolutely superb. And we've been, we've seen isolated performances from Philip Billing, and we know that there's quality there, but we've rarely seen it from him. And it'll be interesting to see what others say as well. So as I said, I'll bring in John as well, John Spark, and also we'll bring in Daniel here over in Florida as well. So Daniel, I'll come to you first. You're a very happy Cherry tonight.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game. I was in school while the game was. So I couldn't really pay attention as well. But I'll say it was like one of our better games to remember when we go back to the Premier League.
When. I like that, when and not if. So you must have seen the scorers, and you see the score. Oh, look, it's 1-0 to Bournemouth. And you're looking down and seeing the scorer. Philip Billing. What did you think when you saw his name there?
I thought it was like a different player, like from the team. I didn't really think he had it in him. Out of all people, I'll say he would be like one of my last people that will score a goal in this game. So it was really surprising, but it's good that he got the goal. So now we know like more players can like be more confident that they could like score more goals. So it's like better when old players like score more goals.
For a player that always just plays, I mean, I wouldn't say he's like a sideways player, but I mean, we saw that he created that goal at Rotherham, which was fantastic for us. But I honestly thought he was going to put Rico in on the left-hand side, and he didn't. He chose to shoot. I mean, it was a fantastic option. But throughout the game, he just showed a little bit more, something a bit more desire. Maybe that was down to how poor Barnsley were. I don't quite know. John, what was your assessment of that? Because we started the weekend in the right way, haven't we?
Well, I mean, yeah, to talk about way to start the weekend. Saturday and Sunday are going to feel much better now. Yeah, it was. I really liked what I saw when the lineup came in. Knowing that Lerma was out, seeing that Cook was still in, seeing Surridge start was a huge deal for me, because just like Kurt pointed out, one of the real issues we had in the last game was no one ran beyond. And as much as Surridge actually did really well holding up the ball when it was thrown up to him long, he ran beyond so often. And I mean, and maybe I wasn't quite paying attention when someone mentioned it, but God, he should have scored within the first 10 minutes. Was it first 5 minutes? Open goal. And that does kind of half remind me of that. What was the second goal in the 4-3 win against Liverpool?
Divock Origi.
Yeah, that was it. It reminds me of the Divock Origi goal. But it was a shame that he couldn't put it away, but I'm so glad that he actually did get the goal in the end. The main thing for me was I was worried before the lineup was put out because Barnsley, I'd heard, were a pressing side. And we've struggled against teams that press us well in the past, really struggled. But what was great about this, by having 3 centre-backs and 3 central midfielders, passing triangles were all over the place. Adam Smith was really getting involved in the link-up play. I mean, the first goal, the 1-2 between him and Brooks was delightful to set him through. And because we always had a decent forward, an option, almost always had an option going forward, we broke their press so quickly that it looked like there were more red players than, more green players than red players once we got into their half. So I think that's a template that I almost said Eddie then, that JT should really look at going forward against high pressing sides like Barnsley. I mean, as an away performance, I mean, that is, I put the question up as to whether it's our most complete performance of the season. I think it's definitely. It was so impressive all round, and clean sheet away from home. I think whoever said it before said we didn't necessarily deserve a clean sheet because of the quality of chances that Barnsley did make, but we got a bit lucky in that regard. And 4-0, I don't think flatters us at all.
I agree. Gary says, for me, that was a professional performance. It wasn't exceptional. It wasn't our best, but we did what we had to do. And we were the clinical side tonight. Let's not forget Barnsley. They missed chances too. Yeah, I mean, it's nice for the shoe to be on the other foot and us actually taking the chances. And really, we had more chances than that. And as you say, reminded me of Liverpool's second goal in that 4-3. And, you know, going back even further, like Mark Hughes for Man United against Barcelona, that was a well-tight angle, but he did score it. And I honestly thought that Sam Surridge was going to net from that angle, but such a good performance by him. And I don't know about you, in the lead up to the first goal, John, that Philip Billings scored, when Adam Smith was running through and there was a midfielder like trying to tackle him, I honestly thought he was going to go down, because that's what Adam Smith usually does. And to see him keep his feet and maintain momentum, I was absolutely loving it.
I think it was because it wasn't in our defensive third. I think that's why. If that had been in our corner, then he definitely would have gone down under an even lighter touch than that. But that's the Adam Smith of old. That inside run, that is trademark Adam Smith. Just cutting inside and going past 1 or 2 players, and this time really just finding the nice, easy pass. And because we'd broken the press so well, Philip Billing, it was him and Rico. Like you said, I was surprised he didn't put it to Rico as well. But the space opened up, and unlike the last few shots Philip Billing has taken, he put that away really well. And it was showed of what to come for Billing in that position. That was someone I really needed to point out. Lewis Cook.
Yeah.
As much as Danjuma has been brilliant for us this season, Danjuma and Danjuma and Surridge are kind of interchangeable in this 3-5-2 because of how they push forward. But Lewis Cook we cannot perform without Lewis Cook. We can't perform that game without Lewis Cook. He was so instrumental in playing things simply, but also winning the ball back, high pressure. And of course, he won't get the assist for some reason for the second goal. But I mean, that was partly Billing doing the initial press and then Cook with the amazing tackle for the second goal. Lewis Cook is just so much better than this level when he's in that spot. And it allows Brooks and Billing. Did I say Cook before? Cook allows Brooks and Billing to be so much more free, so much more active. And I'll know that they've got someone further back that will be able to sweep up, someone they can pass to if they're in trouble, someone that no matter where he is on the pitch, no matter how much pressure he's under, he will get it to someone else or he'll take it past him. As Lewis Cook, I think I saw Kurt put on Twitter that Lewis Cook's the general. I think that's a pretty good nickname for him.
Yeah, very true. So we'll go round and before we switch up, we'll do a marks out of 10 and a man on the match. I'll start with you, Daniel. Thoughts?
I'll say man of the match, Billing. And the only reason I think we won is because Friday luck, because last Friday we won too, so I think it's Friday luck.
Yeah,
So
could well be.
It's going to be 5-0.
Well, perfect. And marks out of 10 for the team tonight, Daniel?
I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Perfect. Daniel, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it, mate. That's Daniel from Florida. Thanks, Dylan. Man of the match?
You know what? I'm going to go with something a bit different, and I'm going to say Metham. Thought it was absolutely fantastic tonight, to be fair. When the ball got through them and he passed back and then had to get back and then turn before the Barnsley attacker pressed him, and then he passed it to, I think it was Smith. I think he was absolutely amazing tonight. I'd give the team a solid 8. I feel like in the starting 10 minutes, I feel like the defence was quite shaky and we were quite lucky to not be 1-0 down. But
did he mean that though? Did he mean that when he headed the ball into the ground and then turned 180 and then distributed it? I mean, it
was a great recovery. I feel like if it was probably Bournemouth of old, we probably would have messed that up. But great game today. Great game.
Yeah, Dylan, thanks very much, mate. Thank you so much. And John, marks out of 10 and man of the match from you, buddy.
I'm tempted to go with a 9. Might say 8 just because we did get away with it a little bit at the back, but I mean 8.5. I'll split the difference. And man of the match, there's about 8 players you could give man of the match to, probably. I think I probably would still give it to Lewis Cook, just of how solid he was and how important he was in the performance. And I could have given it to Billy, could give it to Surridge, could give it to Rico. Just how many players really performed today. But yeah, just delighted and really looking forward to the next game.
John, thanks so much for coming on. It's always nice, isn't it, to start the weekend, especially when it's a Friday game, with a victory, because there's nothing worse than a defeat on a Friday. And I'd love to know when the last time that was. I think we're going back a bit. But anyway, thanks so much, John. Really appreciate it.
Cheers,
mate. So we've got Filippo, Simon, and Algard. But before that, we're going to bring in a legend, Ethan Burney, who's standing by and is ready to chat Cherries. Ethan, I see the party light. Oh no, they're Christmas lights. They might as well be party lights. 4-0. What a performance!
Great performance from the lads. Probably JT gave him a go to last week. Poor performance.
Yeah, I saw a picture just flash up on your phone where you had a certain picture of Dom Solanke looking like Jesus, the Saviour himself. Have you still got that there, or is it on Twitter somewhere?
Yeah, I got it.
If you can, if you can show people at home, there we go. That absolutely love it. I don't know who posted that, but it's absolutely classic. And you know what? It is like he has risen again. And I thought the performance was really good. And we've talked through the first goal enough on this free fall already, but for his second goal, the one that we scored just before half time, great time to score. Talk us through that goal, Ethan. It was superb, wasn't it?
Yeah, the build up, superb. The goal, brilliant.
Yeah, and it was a solid left-footed strike. And you know what? 2-0 is always a bit of a dangerous scoreline, isn't it, Ethan? That's what they say. Because you know what? If Barnsley pulled one back at the start of the second half, we could have seen a different Bournemouth for the sort of remaining 40, 35 minutes or however much time would have been left. But to see Diego Rico take that free kick and not even look. I mean, did you actually think he was going to shoot for goal?
No, not really. I thought he was always going to put his hand on crossing it in.
Yeah. But how do you feel for Diego for scoring his first Bournemouth goal?
Absolute, really class. He was probably focused, really, scoring, I bet.
Yeah.
First goal, wicked.
It's completely. And like Ethan, we finished the match right with Kilkenny off a ball, Jayden Anthony on the pitch, Sam Surridge. I mean, that is just testament to the talent that we have got that just hasn't really got chance. And, we saw some really good things from Jayden Anthony in our defeat against Preston to set up Sam Surridge. Do you think players like that need to get more of a run out? Do you think maybe the Cups are going to be the time that JT uses them?
Yeah, I think they should get a run out, give them a run out, and see how they do.
All right, mate. Marks out of 10 for tonight and your man of the match?
10, well, it's probably out of Philip Billing or Asmir Begovic.
Philip Billing and Asmir. Who'd have thought that we'd have been saying Philip Billing? But talk a little bit about Asmir, mate, because no one's really mentioned him so far. He's been such a good player so far. And you know what? He came up with some good saves today, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely superb. Well, luckily not to concede one from Mempham's mistake, the little header. I thought that was going to go straight to Begovic, but backfired. Yeah. Luckily, he got it away. And Begovic was just on fire today.
What a lad. What a lad. And you as well. What a lad. Ethan, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. Cherries legend, Ethan Burney. What a guy. Nice one. Top man. Right, so we are going to bring in Al Guard here. Al, how you doing?
I'm fine, mate. Fine. Hey, what an evening that was.
Absolutely delighted, mate. I mean, yeah, absolutely delighted. 4-0. We're also going to bring in Filippo. So Al's in France. Filippo is in Italy, and also Simon Kay is here as well. We've got James, Craig, and Ben standing by to come on later, and we're going to bring in Kirk with them as well. Al, so talk us through it, mate. 4-0, brilliant.
Hey, mate, my wife has got no interest in football. She was watching a Billy Joel concert on right whilst I was watching the football, and I've rewritten the whole words to a Billy Joel song, which we'll do in a second. But
oh my God. I love it when you come out in a song. I love it.
And nice to see Filippo, us in the EU, right? No politics tonight, right? Anyway, whilst Billy Joel was on and Philip Billing slammed in the first goal, I wrote my song, and here it goes.
Go on.
It's 6 o'clock on a Friday. Bournemouth have won once again. I watched Billing slam one in whilst I sipped on my tonic and gin. La 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 la. Second verse. Sing me the song of a Bournemouth fan. We play 4-4-2 and we win. Enjoy anything we do tonight. I'll have another tonic and gin. La la la. Right, okay. Control. Billy slammed it in, and well done, Billy. He stepped up tonight. He really has. And he's a 4 out of 10 player most this season. He was a 9 out of 10 tonight. The whole thing was Surridge, another goal. Now, I've given Surridge a little bit of stick on the websites, as you know, Sam.
Yeah.
But that's at Premier League level, right? Now, we have this level here where he scored plenty of goals, and he scored them for Swansea, didn't he? And Oldham? I'm trying to think.
Yes, yeah.
Wrong move. We are top of the league, and like you said, tomorrow I'm just going to watch the games, watch the results come in, but we are top. A couple of things might take us, 1 or 2 might overtake us, but we are putting the pressure on. And choosing not to be, isn't it? Swansea away is a biggie. Let's get that. Let's get them 3 points, and we're well on our way.
Absolutely love it. Al, thank you so much for coming on. That was brilliant. What a star. Absolutely brilliant. Al in Brittany in France. What a legend. And love that song as well. Superb. The audio was getting a little bit choppy there, but I'll tell you what, I absolutely enjoyed that. Right. We're going to bring in James in the background, and then Craig and Ben will follow. But Filippo, how are you, sir? All right?
I'm great. I'm gonna say it in Italian. Ciao a tutti. Ciao Sam. Ciao a tutti. So I was a bit frustrated on Tuesday because of the match, so I missed the live. But then I saw Wednesday's results, and I saw that Swansea lost, Watford drew, Reading as well, and also Norwich lost. So 4 teams that could overturn us. They didn't, and now we are top of the league with a brilliant performance.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what the Championship is going to do. We're going to have these matches where we feel really deflated because we've lost or we've dropped points and we could have pulled away, and then we'll realise a couple of days later that everyone else is doing it as well. And I think, yeah, it's a funny league because Middlesbrough, their form has picked up relatively recently, and we've been thinking, oh, you know what, that 1-1 at Middlesbrough was actually a good point, but then you see us doing it the other way around as well, and we are drawing against teams that other people are smashing out of the park. So it's so random, I've got to say. But give me your highlights from tonight's 4-0, because there's lots to talk about, isn't there, Filippo?
Yes, there is, and what can I say? It's a brilliant performance today, and clean sheet on the road, which is always important. Thanks, Daniel, for the man of the match rating. So I'd say, as many others said before, that man of the match is Billing. Absolutely, he scored the opening goal, and he did not get any pass wrong, any play wrong. It was delighting today. Absolutely delightful. Sorry.
Filippo, you're a legend. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. The audio was a little bit choppy tonight, so we just cut that short. Simon, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. 4-0, Friday night. You can't get much better, can you, really, Simon?
No, you can't. And, we can moan about little things. There's always a little bit of Bournemouth complacency at moments. Begg saved us a couple of times. Balls came across the 6-yard box. In other games, you might be caught out against better opposition, but let's forget about that. 4-0 away from home at the delightful Barnsley FC on a rainy night. That's impressive work. And I think the biggest thing, without thinking of particular players, is I want to give JT a shout, because what I'm beginning to see, which I think for many was a concern before the season started, was what formation is he going to play, how are we going to set up, who's going to go in what positions. And I think if you take away the two abject performances, he's done really well, including changing formations during games. So I want to just give him a shout. And also, John touched on it earlier, Lewis Cook, he's the machine, the terrier, whatever you want to call it. He's that player that in many football teams doesn't get noticed very much, but without his work ethic, a lot of the other things won't fall into place.
It's nice that we're scoring goals from all over the pitch as well. And I talked about position-wise, but also on the pitch as well. So that's 11 goals we've scored from outside the box in however many goals we've scored, 28, 29, whatever it is. Nice to see that, isn't it? More than a third of our goals are coming from there. And it just shows that there's a bit more variety. We've always been a team that's liked to play football. And sometimes I think we're guilty of overpassing it, but we're actually taking our chances. And, we've seen a load of cracking strikes this season.
Absolutely. And I think at one point during the commentary, the commentator said that only Smith and Steve Cook haven't scored a goal out of the 11 players that were on that pitch. You take Begovic out of it. So, 8 out of 10 outfield players at a point in that match had actually netted in the season so far. And we haven't actually played that many games. And I think also what you're starting to see, which to all the Dom believers, of which there weren't many, is not just Dom, but other players, when they have a long run of games in a team and they know what their role is, not surprisingly, they improve. So he is scoring goals. I also think Kirk touched on it quite correctly, and maybe Jason saw this, but that ball down the wing against a pressing team where Sam Surridge was pretty much all the time the outlet, that was really, really important during the game today.
So before we just bring in James to ask him his thoughts of the game, Simon, have you been to Barnsley before?
Yeah, I've been there twice. One time I left the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm prepping you up for a question. I don't really know. Can you maybe tell us a little bit more about why you left the ground?
Yeah, it's not a proud moment, but it's a funny moment. I think everybody's got them in their life. The only time being ejected from the ground, I think it was away an FA Cup game, I think. I was there with my girlfriend at the time, was the wife. We have a few beers before the game, get to half time, you're needing the toilet, big long queue at the gents. Girlfriend says, just come in the ladies. I think there was only about 4 or 5 women at the game, to be fair. So in we went, just went to the loo, came out. The local coppers found it funny, but as we sometimes know, I love our local bobbies, but at away games, they can sometimes, back in the day, not like certain things. So we were both ejected at half time for going in the ladies' loo. There you go.
You're a scoundrel. You're out of control. Don't do that again. Unbelievable. Simon Kane. Absolutely love it. Fair play. Right, we're going to switch up again. Simon, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Take care. Stay well.
Yeah, you too. You too, buddy. And so Craig is going to come in as well, as is Ben too. James, though, first. How are you, mate?
Very well. Thank you, Sam. Hope you're all well also.
Doing good. Loving the Christmas jumper.
Cheers. I've gone with the visuals. Because how on earth can I follow Ethan's Dom pick, Al's song, Filippo, and then Sam? Not Simon, sorry. How the hell can I follow? I can only bring visuals.
Yeah, you can only bring visuals. And I'll tell you what, I mean, the visuals that we saw on Sky Sports tonight, pretty good, eh? 4-0, what starts the weekend, eh? Love it. Oh, my goodness. What is this? Oh, mate, I'm going to... This is so good. I'm full screening that bad boy. Look at that.
That's my take on Gareth Bale at Real Madrid. I don't play golf like Simon, but by the sounds of it, nor does Simon.
Yeah. So, what was your analysis of that tonight?
Oh, incredible. Absolutely all-round superb performance. And, I'm still shocked as to how Barnsley didn't put any one of those shots away. They put that ball right in the right place, and they're just unfortunate not to have had a toe, because I could have seen the game go a different direction otherwise. But no, all round superb. Lewis Cook was just unreal, dictating the game, left, right, centre. Everything was pointing up the pitch where it should be. There was no sideways or backward balls. The intention was to score, which is all round no better way to finish a Friday.
Yeah, agreed. Craig, you must be delighted with that.
Oh, absolutely. I said something at half time with regards to Philip Billing. I've been moaning about him, but I can't knock him tonight. The ball, Solanke didn't finish the shot, but that ball that he passed out, it was sexy. That ball, brilliant. It was honestly beautiful. Yeah, he still can't head a ball. But at the same time, he was easily my man of the match tonight, and I never thought I'd ever say that. You know, he was.
That's an insight into Craig's head, how he gets his kicks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Bloody hell, mate. Love it. Ben's also here with us as well. Ben, how are you, mate? 4-0, superb.
Absolutely lovely. Yeah, I mean, is this the moment? Is this the turning point of the season? I think so. I've been waiting for this. I think we've all been waiting for this for weeks. That one performance. I genuinely think tonight is it. And also, that camera zoom in on Diego Rico just before he took that free kick. Oh, the boy is beautiful.
Well, you know what? It's nice that we've seen the fruits of that left foot. I mean, I think that he's a player that's had a few difficult and indifferent performances recently. Sometimes not through his own fault, but I thought that tonight he was brilliant. And when you're playing in that formation, when you've got three at the back, hello, let's see that bad boy. There it is. Oh my God, that's superb.
What a free kick, mate! Honestly, it was just pin perfect. There was very little gap for Rico to get that into, and I don't think we're going to see a better. I think that was better than Stanislas's on Tuesday. I've even forgot what day.
It was
too many of these. Better than Stanislas, but maybe not quite as good as Cooks.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, like Stanislas, who scored that free, Chris Temple needs to speak to John Williams and say, "It's not Stanislas." Where's that you coming from? Is he getting confused with Santa Claus or something? I don't know what it is, but it's weird.
You know what? I'm absolutely delighted tonight as well, because I got a message come through from my little brother, and he was like, and Ben spoke to him the other day, and my little brother turned around and he said, the Cherries are crumbling, aren't they? And I'm really hoping he watched that tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, a cherry crumble, actually.
Yeah. That's
It's normally biscuits that crumble.
The free kick that kind of Rico scored, I mean, everyone was expecting him to pump it into the box. And it reminded me of a cheeky one that Liverpool did against Chelsea in the Champions League at Stamford Bridge many years ago. I think it's Aurelio, who did the same thing, but he played it low and just no one expected it. And the keeper was scrambling across.
Actually, if you watch his eyes, Rico was looking over into that far left-hand corner.
Mm.
So I think he knew in the back of his mind what he was going to do there.
I can't not look at his eyes. Those beautiful hazel eyes.
And literally, and they said it on Sky as well, he's literally looking into the left-hand corner. So all the Barnsley players thought, right, okay, he's going to swing straight over to the left and somebody's going to try and then get their head onto it. He didn't look to that corner, but he put it in. He didn't look at it at all. If you watch his eyes, watch it back. I know it sounds weird, but watch it back. You know, how he swung it in. I don't think we're going to see a better. Literally, I think it's the best free kick we've seen.
I can't wait. When we win matches like that, I have a sort of routine. I obviously saw the game live on Sky, and then I'll always watch the AFCB highlights back. So Chris Temple, I don't think there's many better commentators out there. I think he just explains it with so much, pizzazz and gravitas, and I think he's brilliant at what he does. And then I always like to watch the alternative angle footage and stuff. And I go through this routine, and I've got a whole weekend to gorge on it now. It's amazing. And me and Jeff will be talking about it on the podcast. I mean, you're talking about beautiful eyes, Ben. You're talking about sexy passes. I mean, I don't know what experience I'll be coming out on the podcast. Can't wait.
Watch that free kick again and just watch what Rico's looking at. And he's looking at that the left-hand side. It just swings it straight into the right. It's
around
Barnsley players' fault.
Ben.
At around 84, 85 minutes, there was another free kick that Rico took a little bit further out. Yeah. But if you watch the keeper, because the camera focused in on him, and he was absolutely bricking it. It was hilarious. I mean, it was just like the free kick was there. It was a little bit too far out to shoot, I thought. But the camera then went on the keeper, and he was like, I don't even know where to look. I don't even know where to go. This is scaring the crap out of me. It made me smile.
Literally, his legs were shaking. It looked like he was going to empty his bottom.
That's it, though.
But he didn't know whether or not to go to the right or whether or not Rico was going to swing it into the left. In the end, Rico swung it into the left, what you would expect him to do.
Yeah.
Also, Lewis Cook tonight.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Just wow.
Yeah. You know what? There's a few players that, I mean, a few people have touched on Lewis Cook, but then there's others. There's one like Steve Cook hasn't had a single mention. I don't think Lloyd Kelly has either. There's like some players who just did their job tonight. So I'm really interested in seeing Tom's player ratings video that hopefully will be coming out tonight, because I would love to see what his guest is going to say on that. But Craig, you're about to say?
The only thing that I would say that, and it's a bit of a negative point and something that Jason needs to sort, is those crosses into the box. A lot of what Barnsley were doing, luckily, they weren't good enough to actually get on the end of them, because they were crossing them straight along the box. And there was a couple of those that come straight in, straight across. All it takes is a touch and it's in the back of the net.
Yeah.
However, I think Kelly was at fault for a couple of those. Really, what we need to do is make sure that we're stopping that. So making sure that we're moving across before that happens, and it going out for a corner, as worst case scenario. But every ball's when they were attacking, they did seem to come straight across, and all it takes is one player to get on the end of it. Luckily, we got away with it tonight. But that is the only probably negative that I'd have with tonight's performance. Otherwise, we're fantastic. Billing, well, I messaged, I put on Twitter, I said he's like a man possessed.
Yeah.
Absolutely, the balls he was playing, the control he was having, the way he was tackling back. We haven't seen that from him.
No,
when have we seen that in the last 18 months?
Well, it's been isolated. I mean, James, will Billing, say if he gets selected against Swansea, I mean, he's a player that you could put in our next match, and you just think, well, we don't know what player we're going to get. We haven't seen it from him consistently, and that's always the worry. Whereas players like Lewis Cook, you have.
I think he's been a bit conservative. I think he has done a lot more than people have probably noticed or commented on, or other performances around beside him have been of a much higher level that they get spoken about. But I don't know. He's finding a way. He's working his way in, and I think it's one of those. He's obviously a wonderful player in training, and JT thinks he's good enough to start and play. And I think we're beginning to see the start because Don was questioned, and Willie, won't he? And now all of a sudden he's just built in confidence. And I think he's given the opportunity and chances, as we've seen with Surridge just tonight. We've been calling out for it, asking what on earth has he got to do to break into the squad? Has he got to wait for injuries? But given a chance, he will go out and perform, and they've got the hunger to work forward with the ball, both of them.
When Billing come off, Graham Jones went straight over to him and said something. I'm sure, I reckon Jason's had words and said, look, you need to really pick up your game. You need to, and he's actually listened. He still can't head the ball. I don't know what it is. I wonder if he doesn't want to affect his hair, but otherwise, how he's been. It's not the Philip Billing that we know tonight. And hopefully, Billing.
What Philip Billing do we know?
Well, apparently the commentators referred to him as sizable Billing and big Billing. I don't know who's ever referred to him as being big Billing. Billing, sorry.
Phil Bigging.
Yeah, only himself. Yeah.
From the end of as soon as we've been doing these free throws, I really, and rightly so, I've never really had a decent review of what Billing's. I've never really given Billing a good report off the back of a game. Tonight was completely different, absolutely completely different. In the middle, he was running the show. He had full control over his position. He knew what he was doing tonight, which, in past games, you look at him and you think, does he strain out?
He's been very pedestrian.
Yeah, exactly. You don't really know why he's in there. But tonight, if he can replicate that game on game on game on game, he'll be a fantastic player. The problem is that inconsistency.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's listened to Graham Jones's words. Hopefully he's listened to our words tonight as well, and given him a bit of faith. But he's listened to me, and look, what we want is the Philip Billing tonight, week in, week out, and without a shadow of a doubt, if playing like he did tonight, if we did go back into the Premier League, why shouldn't he start? If he was playing like, if he can play like that,
big call.
Bloody hell, big calls.
Wow, he is shooting as low tonight.
September's a long way away.
Hey, how many bad boys have you had? I don't know. But...
Number 5, I'll say that.
It's a big can too.
Celebrate a bit. To be fair, I'm down about 3 of these after full time. So
anyway, we're gonna swap it up. We're gonna get a few minutes to go, guys. James, Craig, Ben, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Guys, have a great weekend.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, Sam.
Enjoy your cherry weekend. Absolutely superb to have you on, and loving the celebration. So there's going to be a few minutes left. So I know a few people have tried to get involved, such as Dane, and also Steve Hensman was thinking about it on chat, whether he's going to come on or not. We're going to bring this guy back for Toby's take. There's got to be a logo. Well, I mean, we know there is one. You've heard a lot tonight, and you've been sitting there through it patiently. Many points been brought up that have sort of pricked your ears up?
I don't need to go over it again, but I've said it for many weeks now. Lewis Cook is the engine. I know he's the battery. He's the battery that gets all the other components going, and he's massive to us. You said earlier you're going to question me on what JT does now.
Yeah, well, what does he do now? Because that's the question I put to Morgan about, Danjuma is that flair player that you always want to stick in. Can you get him in a side that's got Sam Surridge and Dom Solanke in it?
JT wanted this show, didn't he? He wanted the job. He's got the job. So I think we're a better team with two up top. A player that we need in this team is Sam Surridge. To get the best out of Dom Solanke, he needs to play with another striker. Now, Coventry, Sam Surridge and Dom Solanke played up top together, 3-1. Tonight, 4-0. So, to play two up top, it's two formations in my eyes. It's 3-5-2.
Yeah.
The problem with the formation tonight is Danjuma will not do what Rico does, going backwards. That's your first problem. Stanislas will do it. So if you were to play Stanislas in Rico's role or Smith's role, he'll do that job, but Danjuma definitely won't. The other option is 4-4-2, but then you're taking out that three midfield that worked well tonight. So whatever JT does, I'm not going to give you the answer here because I think it's a tough one. All I think is I can't look at that squad and justify not playing Danjuma. But it's one hell of a problem that JT's got on his hands. And Ben just mentioned there, was this the turning point? Potentially, but is it also the problem that we've got with the players and the depth of squad that we think we don't have, but we potentially do have?
Well, Chris Hubble's asked for him, as you can see there, and I'm going to deliver by giving you Steve Hensman as well. Steve's here as well, and you've heard what Kirk's just said there. Well, firstly, Steve, great evening, 4-0.
I'm not sure what to say, mate. I usually got. No, it's brilliant. It was brilliant. I loved every minute of it. Thought we were amazing tonight. And mark this day down in your diary. Yeah. Philip Billing had a great game. There, you heard it first. I know.
We just want to see it more. We just want to see it more consistently, don't we? That's all it is.
Yeah. I'm not going to big him up too much. I don't think he was man of the match or anything, but he put a decent shift in tonight, and that's just what we want to see every week.
He's had another good performance this season, and he played higher up in that three, where he hasn't got to be organised and he's got less duties to do. The other night the other time he played in the Lewis Cook role when Lewis Cook didn't start, and he was put in that position with Jeff Lerma ahead of him. And he struggled. And I said this, if you're going to play Billing and get the best out of him, just float him higher up, because what he can do is get into those positions like he did tonight, and he can feed those simple, but he sees it and he does it, and he plays those 10-yard passes, and he's created chances tonight. What I said when I initially came on was I just hope it's not another 3 months or another 6 games before we see him perform like this again, because I have seen him perform like this in the stadium. I've seen him perform half decent on TV. Just like Sam said, it's just not consistent.
Yeah, Steve, are you in agreement with that?
Yeah, pretty much. But I'd like to talk a bit about Sam Surridge, because I thought he was my man of the match tonight. I thought he was excellent.
Same.
I thought his movement, he created so much space for Dom. I thought he was just he seems very mature for his age in his play. I just think it's, you'd think a lad of that age would have a lot to learn, but I think he's got a hell of a lot that he offers.
Sam, we've had a bit of a conversation about Dom, and when he's playing up top on his own, his natural instinct is to do so much more than just get in the box and score goals. But when he's playing up top on his own, we get frustrated because we're whipping balls in and no one's in there. When he's got Surridge next to him, that pressure's taken off of him. So he will drive into the box and score goals like he did tonight. But when he does everything else that's natural to him, he knows that other stuff's going on behind him that he's not going to get flack for. And that's why I think we're going to be better with Surridge in the team, because he gives us that striking instinct that we don't have. And it will also benefit Solanke being able to do what he does best on and off the ball.
Do you know what I like about the both of them is they both work their socks off. The pair of them, they both put. There's no sort of coasting by any of them. There's neither of them a luxury player. They put a shift in, the pair of them, and they're both good in the air. They both can get flick-ons. They can pick up knockdowns off each other. I just think it's a blossomings of a very, very nice little partnership there. I think personally, from a defender's point of view, who knows nothing about going forward.
Well, it's nice that players like Rico and Adam Smith almost seem to have the license to go forward today, because it was almost like in the Preston match, it was almost
that's what I said to Kirk earlier before the game. I looked at the lineup and said those two have got for us to perform well tonight, they've got to have good games.
They have to,
yeah, and I think they delivered.
And when you're playing two strikers again, you would hope to think you could put a ball in with your eyes closed and there'll be at least one of them in there. We had that natural width with the natural right footer and left footer whipping the balls in away from the goal. And that's good. We know the delivery's not always going to be on point, but it just worked well tonight. It was. There's some things we can say defensively. We would maybe lucky to get a clean sheet, but we still win that game. Even if we concede tonight, we still win the game.
Paul Bellamy on chat's made an excellent point by saying so far this season it's a case of lose a game, change formation and win, and it is almost like JT has done that.
Did I not highlight that at the start though?
Of course you did, and also it keeps the teams you're playing, from like wondering what are you going to do. It keeps them guessing as well. So it's you could say maybe when Eddie was manager there was more measured thought, sort of sustained over a long period of time. But with JT, it seems to be almost like, okay, we lost, let's change it. And I kind of like that instinctiveness of it. And as a football fan, you almost want to see that. And quite often this season, I've seen JT make decisions, even if it's kind of formation-wise at the start of a game or during the game with players he's brought on. I thought, you know what, like I broadly agree with that. So, yeah, I'm quite pleased with it.
I just find JT a bit more of a gambler, much more of a gambler than Eddie. He'll roll the dice. He'll roll the dice on formation changes. He'll roll the dice on substitutions. Whether that's coming solely from JT or it's a little bit to do with Graham and Perchie in the background, who knows? But it's a lot more. It's definitely a little bit more reactive than Eddie ever was. I'm not saying that Eddie, like you say, Eddie was more measured, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is go through some 5-word match reports. Kirk and Steve, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. As ever,
pleasure.
Guy.
Got there eventually.
Good man. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you very much, guys. And we asked for your 5-word match report, so we're quickly going to go through those. And absolutely delighted with that 4-0. Oh, by the way, if you want to win an Art of Football print or T-shirt, we got a winner. We've got a competition on our Twitter feed. It's our pinned tweet. So you can win some kind of AFC Bournemouth artwork or whatever. Just check out our Twitter and you can win a T-shirt like this. And all it is just a case of doing a couple of follows, etc. So do that. And also there is another a giveaway going to be happening very soon as well on YouTube as well for more Cherries related content. So these are the 5-word match reports. We'll finish off with this. DC in Washington, who came on earlier. Solanke and Billing silence critics. Top of the effing league, says Craig. I think each cherry represents a beer that Craig's had tonight. Maybe, not sure. Billing rejects lifts in Craig's Mariva. It's not grim up north, said Frank. What a joy to watch, said Ian. Great start to the weekend, Michael. James, 3 points, clean sheets, top. Minty, cohesion and cutting edge, better. That's how you win away, said Matthew. Yeah, I agree. Ian Stark, Surridge performance of the season, agreed. Kirk, as we had earlier, Rico whip replaces hang time Loving it. Charlie said Solanke building towards his 20. We've all talked about it. What a free kick, Diego. Newers. Morgan. Super. Sam Surridge. 2 in 2. Back to the Premier League as well. And if you want to get your 5-word match reports in, we will reflect on those on the podcast as well. And the podcast is the second look video that we also have on this YouTube channel. But if you actually download the podcast, there's more audio exclusive stuff that doesn't ever get played on the YouTube channel. That's what this originated as, a podcast, and it just turned into the whole YouTube stuff. So if you want to download it, just search Back of the Net Bournemouth, and we'd really appreciate you giving us a review as well. Anyway, thanks so much for coming on this evening, guys. Really appreciate it, and thanks to everyone in chat. This has been Back of the Net. We'll see you in the next video. Hopefully, it's going to be as happy as this. Cheers, take care.
Back of the Net!